I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'm Tim Cavanaugh, Chairman of the Metropolitan Utilities District Board of Directors, and I'd like to welcome you all to the committee meetings this afternoon, November 5th, 2025. This meeting is being live streamed from the boardroom at the M.U.D headquarters building located at 7350 World Communications Drive. A recording of this meeting will be uploaded to the M.U.D website after the meeting's conclusion. Please make sure all your phones are silenced. Safety briefing, I'd like to invite, safety briefing first. I'd like to invite Vice President of Safety and Security, Shane Hunter, to provide a briefing regarding protocol for all individuals in attendance at the board meeting today in the event of an emergency. Shane.
Yeah, good afternoon. Shane Hunter, Vice President of Safety and Security. We are on the first floor here at M.U.D headquarters, and normal entry and exit from this room is through the door we all entered at the rear. There's also another exit here on the right-hand side of the room. Through that door is where you'll find the nearest fire extinguisher and first aid kit. A little farther down the hallway is the nearest AED. With the location of that AED in mind, show of hands, CPR and AED trained. Thank you. If we have a medical emergency in this space today, 911 will be called from the security guards at the front desk, who will then escort EMS personnel into this space. If we need to leave this room for any reason, we can go through either door, but if we need to evacuate the building, going through this door on the right, two lefts, and we'll reconvene in the parking garage for accountability. That concludes the safety briefing.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Howard.
Here.
Kavanaugh.
Here.
Begley.
Here.
Cook. Friend.
Here.
Sidzik.
Here.
McGowan.
Here.
Open Meetings Act. I would like to advise all those in attendance that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is available on the wall in the back of the boardroom. Construction Operations Senior Vice President, COO Kendall Miner, will review the proposed capital expenditures behind tab 5.
Good afternoon. With this month's CNA CapEx letter, we have 11 items total, 6 items for buildings, plants, and equipment, 5 items for system improvements. I'm going to discuss 2 of those items today. The first item being digital transformation, which is phase 1 of 4 phases. Following the successful implementation of S/4HANA, these are the next phases for technology modernization for the district. A project prioritization committee has been established, which consists of senior management and other leaders across the district to evaluate the criticality and prioritization of projects moving forward. There have been 32 projects identified to date. 11 of those projects will be in phase 1 of this process improvement. These phases align with the district's strategic priorities such as technological innovation, automation, business improvements, and enhancing our user interface for business applications. 5 of those projects are the 5 key projects that are identified as fleet management system, updating self-service portals, creating online benefit enrollment portal for employees, digital improvement for the finance department, and deploying a new mobility platform for operations. And so that is the first item I would like to cover. The next item, item 5, under system improvements, is the streetcar project. This is the phase 8 of 8. This is the last gas relocation project for the streetcar that we will start. This project, the work will begin, is anticipated to begin next week. It will be performed by M.U.D crews. There is some service work, which is estimated at $100,000. And this aligns with the $7.6 million term sheet that was previously approved by the Board of Directors. And with that, I will open the floor for any questions or concerns.
I have 2 quick questions.
Okay.
On item number 2, under buildings, plants, and equipment on page 1.
Yes.
That storm damage, is any of that covered by insurance?
I'm not sure if that's covered by insurance or not, but I'll let Steve answer.
Good afternoon, Steve Dickus, Senior Vice President, Chief Financial Officer. Director McGowan, that amount will be below our insurance deductible, so we would not pursue a claim in that front, but that particular event was declared an emergency by the federal government. We would have an opportunity to potentially recover funds through FEMA and
So
we
we're gonna pursue
we'll
recovery of-
explore whether or not that makes sense.
Okay, so you're going to pursue recovery of them?
Yes, sir.
The emergency funds?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is there deductible a cumulative effect if we have another damage somewhere else? Or is it each event?
It would be each event.
Each event. Okay, and then my second question, on page 2, the Florence Water Treatment Plant, acquiring those 3 properties,
Yes.
is that amount in the budget? Did we budget for that?
Yes, the amount's in the budget already, and Senior Vice President Mark Mendenhall is going to also talk to those as well here in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have a follow-up question about the recovery. Steve, I don't know if this would be for you or for Kendall, and I'm assuming we're both talking, Mr. McGowan, about system improvements, number 2. Is that what you were asking about? System improvements on page 3,
Yes.
number 2?
Yes.
So I understand it's below our deductible. What about the contractor that hit the main? Was the main marked properly? Is the contractor that did it at fault? Or who's going to be held accountable for what happened?
If I could clarify, the item number 2 that Director McGowan was referring to was the storm damage under buildings, plants, and equipment. And you're questioning system improvements number 2?
There's a roof.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm asking about, I wasn't paying as close attention as I should, my apologies. So, under system improvements number 2,
Okay.
who's paying for that? Or is anyone paying for it because this includes valves and not just the replacement of the pipe that was struck?
Normally what happens when a contractor strikes our resources, our equipment, our infrastructure, we take out a WWO for them to pay for the repair work to be done on our system. So I can also get additional clarity on that one just to make sure, but that's normally what the process is for how we are handling costs.
Right, in this particular case, though, this additional cost represents what we need to do because it's a system improvement, hence where it's at in here to add valves, is that?
Director Friend, Mark Doyle, President. We had a lot of discussion on this one, so I'm not surprised you brought it up. I'm glad you did. A lot of history here, and I think Mark's going to speak to some of this. My questions surrounded, when we acquired this system, I was probably on the board at that time. I'm thinking, did we go in and do what we would normally do if we built that system? We didn't. I've asked for other areas where we may have acquired gas infrastructure and water too, but it's a little different if you're shutting off water versus shutting off gas in the winter. Asked for other areas, and Vice President Massania on the engineering side brought a lot of good information that we're aware of all these areas. Do we just automatically go out and fix them? Not sure, but it isn't okay that we have to shut off more people than we really need to if we put some money into it. So that's not really answering your question, but the backdrop is this, this isn't optimal. It wasn't ours, but that's not really the answer. It is ours now. So, Mark, did you want to shed some light on some of that?
If I can, Director Friend Mark Mendenhall, Senior Vice President, General Counsel. So, real brief overview. Yes, anytime there is a strike on a gas or a water facility by a third party, our claims department will respond, investigate, and then take steps to hold that contractor responsible if we believe they have liability. In this particular incident, and I will confirm, and I can send you all communication via email, my understanding is that we did not determine the contractor to be at fault. This is a challenging area based on that material, so the material is not easily or readily located by locating equipment, and this is called an aldelay type of plastic that doesn't respond as well as, say, plastic with a trace wire. And this is not a material that we use. This is a material that was used in the system as we acquired it. To further challenge, my understanding is that many of these records in this area are also somewhat lacking, which has led us to replace, when we've had similar incidents of a strike in this area before, I will confirm, but I do not believe that, I believe this would be something that we would write off and that we would not be pursuing from a third party. But I'll confirm and I'll send it to you all separately.
So back to Mr. Doyle, my question is, and I don't need an answer today, if we've inherited through the process various materials that are difficult, like this aldolay, to locate if it doesn't have a trace wire, et cetera, is there a process or will there be a process to identify others that are similar to make sure that when we send our locators out to locate that prior to any excavation, we don't run into this again?
Yes. I know
Okay.
you're not used to that kind of an answer, but from me, yes. And I think if you sat in the meeting when we talked about this, I felt like I was questioning like you are right now. And it's really not to place blame here. On the water side, I don't know if you recall when we took over Bellevue.
I recall more recently Elkhorn, and the
Elkhorn
records were
for
not
sure.
terrific.
But Bellevue in particular had water mains that were only 2 inches. We would never consider that a water main in our system. So when we brought it in, we had a lot of, when somebody cut a line and took the base out, our infrastructure came into play. Short answer, I should go back to it, yes. We're looking at this. We only know what we know in terms of infrastructure where records are bad. I'm happy to say it always shows me how good ours are. But that's not an excuse. We own this infrastructure.
I was hoping the answer would be yes, and that's what I needed to hear. And if there's an update on that at some point in time as to what that looks like, if we need to do something that would have a rate impact.
Yes.
Water is bad when you shut someone's water off. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. A gas main break can be a much bigger deal. Ask the old market, right? I mean, I'm not saying we were wrong, but we took tarring on that, even though we said we didn't do anything wrong. So that's the reason why I was asking. Thank you.
I'm sticking with yes. And we have enjoyed revenue over the years here, so it isn't like we're, I should stop while I'm ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Renner.
thank you.
All right. Director of Plant Engineering, Trevor Tonagis, will review acceptance of contracts and payment of final estimates behind tab 6.
Good afternoon, Trevor Tonagis, Director of Plant Engineering. This month, for the finals letter, we have 5 projects for you. I'll highlight just a couple of them. Item C on the list was a cast iron water main replacement project. This took place in the Ponca Hills area, which is just north of our Florence treatment facility. This project included just under a mile of pipe replacement, primarily 8-inch water main pipe, and was completed by Hymus. The other one is item D, also an infrastructure replacement project. This was about 1.5 miles of pipe out in Elkhorn, as we were just discussing. Majority of it was 6-inch pipe, and this was successfully completed by CMG Pipelines. And that was all I planned to highlight, unless there's any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Vice President of Procurement and Enterprise Services, John Zellers, will now review the bids on materials and contracts behind tab 7.
All right, good afternoon. John Zellers, Vice President, Procurement and Enterprise Services. I'll be speaking to tab 7, bids on materials and contracts. There are 3 items that I plan to discuss this afternoon, and the first may be found at the top of page 2. We are requesting the ratification of the replacement of the radiator on the Operations Center backup generator. The radiator developed a leak, and in the interest of replacing it as soon as possible, a purchase order was placed with the low bidder, NMC. The next item may be found further down the page. We accepted bids for the installation of fall protection within the Florence Chemical Building. Only 1 bid was received, which exceeded the cost expectations. We are recommending the rejection of the sole bid. Engineering and water operations will review design and see if there are value engineering and scope modifications that can be incorporated to encourage additional bids with more favorable pricing with the intent to bid at a later date. The last item may be found at the end of page 3. We accepted bids for high-density polyethylene water fittings. We are recommending the second low bid, as the low bid was incomplete and didn't include pricing on all requested items. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Vice President of Engineering Masania will now review the proposed main extensions behind tab 9.
Good afternoon, Masania, Vice President of Engineering. Behind tab 9, you'll find the main extensions letter, where we have 2 water projects this month. The impact of the water main extensions include water service and fire protection for 134 residential, 1 commercial, 1 industrial, and 5 outlots. This month's letter represents much of what we've seen throughout the year, which is a variety of development-type projects, including a mix of residential, multifamily, commercial, and industrial projects. This speaks to the healthy local economy and how our policy supported by this board provides tools for developers to expand without putting too much burden on our existing customer owners. These projects total 2.2 miles of mains for our growing distribution system. They also include an additional $867,000 in connection charges or pioneer main fees. That is all I plan to cover, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
How about gas service with these? Any gas?
Yeah, for the first project, 160th and Rainwood, Morgan Ridge, they are requesting gas service for that. For the second project, it's an industrial site where they're not requesting gas service for that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Masa, quick question, I'm sorry. On this first one that's water,
Yes.
refresh my memory why we don't include water and gas on the same main extensions letter. Is it yet to be developed, the process, or the?
It's a timing thing. The water design gets completed first, and then after that, the gas design gets completed. It's just the water's deeper, is based on where storm sewers are at and grading and all of that. Once that's completed and we know that that's finalized, then we'll complete the gas design work and get the estimates put together for the board to review.
Thank you.
Thank you. Safety and Security, Vice President of Safety and Security, Shane Hunter, will now review change order number 1, Permar Security Contract Services behind tab 10.
Good afternoon, Shane Hunter, Vice President of Safety and Security. Behind tab 10, you'll find the change order request for $140,370. This change order adds security guard provisions for Construction Center 2, not only from December through the opening in April, but continuing on to the end of the contract in August 31st of 2026. It's detailed in the letter. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
Shane, so under the scope and schedule number 1, if I'm reading this right, correct me, there are 3 roving guards covering the off hours. The weekly hours for the interim period of 120, is that a fixed post? And when there's not someone on duty, the fixed post, the 3 guards do the roving? Is that what that is?
The post is 1 guard. The staffing for that 1 post, evenings, Monday through Friday, and holidays and weekends, 24 hours. It's 1 post with 3 to fill that position.
Okay, so if the weekly hours is 120, there's 168 hours in a week. What happened to the other 48? Am I missing something?
Would that be a what?
So under the 3rd bullet item of number 1, weekly hours for this interim period are 120. If there's somebody there every hour, there's 168 hours in the week, correct? So what happened to the 48 hours that's not being covered?
Would it just be 12-hour shifts in the evening, though, during the hours of darkness and not during the day when MCO's staff is on site performing the work?
Okay, so it's not 20, that's what I was trying to get to. It's not 24 hours a day, it's more overnight.
Weekends and holidays only.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel, Vice President of Human Resources, Bonnie Savine, will now review employee wage and/or salary increases and ratifications behind tab 11.
Good afternoon. Bonnie Savine, Vice President, Human Resources. I'll do a quick recap of employee counts here. Looking at October 2024, we had 900 regular full-time employees with 5 regular part-time employees. That gave a total of 905. To end this October, we had 911 regular full-time employees with 3 regular part-time for a total of 914. We also have 16 interns on staff as well at this time. Quickly looking at jobs in various stages of job placement, there is a lot of activity going on right now. So a quick review, we have 12 jobs that have requisitions going through job description and the posting and approval process. We have 12 jobs that are also currently posted. That comprises 22 vacancies. 3 of those are external only, 6 are internal only, and 3 are internal and external at the same time. So you'll see 6 jobs, I believe, on the screen. There may have been 1 additional one posted here today. 5 jobs are also in the process of where the applications are being reviewed and interviews are occurring. And then we have 7 jobs with 13 full-time hires that are working through the onboarding process and will be coming on board here soon. If we take a look at tab 11, that's where we will find wage and or salary increases and ratifications. The HR department is recommending increases for 17 employees this month. We have 6 OAC employees that are receiving increases due to a promotion, a standard promotion. We have an additional 5 OAC employees receiving a promotion through job progression within their family. And then in the SPA section, we also have 6 employees receiving increases. 2 are OAC employees transitioning into an SPA role. An additional 4 are already SPAs who are receiving a promotion through the promotion process. I would note under Section 5 at the back of the letter, we do have 1 new hire ratification, and that is our Director of Internal Audit, who was hired last month. Are there any questions?
Is the Director of Audit, Grant, is he here?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Oh, he is? Hey, he's here. Look at that. I didn't
Okay.
see him.
Just wanted to see who it was.
I get him confused with one other employee that he looks so much alike. His brother, by the way. Great. And I would just take 30 seconds to say a big thank you to the employees, retirees, family members, Director Howard, for attending our benefit fair last Thursday. We had about 660, if not a little more, employees, retirees, and spouses come through. We had 254 vaccines delivered during that event, 26 mammograms, 45 PSA or prostate serum tests conducted, and then we also had 78 biometric screenings. A lot of services performed that day, a lot of great conversation, a lot of good interaction, and it's always wonderful to see employees pop through there and retirees, so thank you.
Bonnie, I just want to say you do a great job with that, and it looks to me like every year you have more vendors that attend.
We did get a great response this year from folks wanting to attend, and a lot of kudos to Katie Pulte and her team. They do a great job executing that every year. So,
well, I think the employees look forward to that because it was not quite, but it seemed like at times it was almost standing room only.
I know.
So it was a great event. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bonnie.
1 second, Mark Doyle, President. Yeah, I want to reiterate, nothing I'm going to say that's going to be better than our directors, but what a great event. I mean, to see the participation it's probably second to none. I do want to take a moment to introduce our guests, if you don't mind. I don't want you to feel awkward here, and I don't want you to I don't want to talk you out of getting into public service. So I want to do this right. I know one of the young adults here is Lucy Mendenhall, and that would be Mark's daughter. Would you mind introducing? I think I know who you are, but why don't you tell me?
My name's Avery Paglo.
Okay. Somebody else I might have expected. So They're both seniors at Marion. And tell me the class that you're in that brings you to this wonderful event that we're having.
Yes, government and politics.
Well, welcome to our board meeting, and we're really happy to have you here. I hope I didn't embarrass you, but I kind of wanted to let everybody know that you're here so we can be on our best behavior.
You may have embarrassed Mark more.
I'm not sure that's possible, but point well taken.
All right, just in time for Dad, J&L. Senior Vice President and General Counsel Mark Mendenhall will now review the purchase agreement for North 28th Avenue parcels behind tab 12.
All right, thank you. Mark Mendenhall, Senior Vice President, General Counsel. Behind tab 12, you'll find management's recommendation to authorize Mr. Doyle to enter into purchase agreements to acquire 3 lots. They are circled on the screen behind you or in front of you. They are 8511, 8517, and 8519 North 28th Avenue. Clearly see on the western boundary of the Florence Water Treatment Plant along North 28th Avenue. These are 2 separate owners. They all have the same representative. They have all come up for sale. The representative reached out to us to inquire of our interest. We are interested for 2 primary reasons. 1, as an additional safety buffer, and 2, as an additional security buffer due to the lot's proximity to those buildings which contain critical chemical treatment facilities. To Director McGowan's question on budgeting, I don't expect closing to occur this year. We're actually still we've got an agreed purchase price, but we're finalizing a few terms of the purchase agreement. So we enter into a purchase agreement tomorrow. We have 90 days of due diligence is what we've asked for. One of the properties has a number of old vehicles in the backyard. There's 2 of them have kind of run-down houses, which we would demolish. The middle property, 8517, has a large shed. I believe Mr. Whitfield and Ms. Polito will evaluate to see if that is salvageable, if we could utilize that shed in any way. But we will do a phase 1 environmental to ensure we're not purchasing anything with some environmental issues. So I expect closing to be in 2026, early 26. I'll come back in front of you. I'll ask for authorization and indicate if the due diligence is satisfactory. And if it's not, I'll come back and I'll say we're actually going to walk away and not close on it. And so the majority of the dollars would be spent in 26, and they are included in the 26 budget.
What about that 4th property, 8501? Seems like it's adjacent to the building too.
Yes. So.
Or even the 8600 block there too. I mean.
So we've acquired 80. My eyes are bad here. 8421 and 8417. I think I was involved in acquiring those quite some time ago, and then there are a few others further south that we've acquired. I believe most, and if they're watching today, most of those property owners understand we're an interested party, and anytime any one of those comes up for sale, we will evaluate for need, and just based on proximity, I anticipate we would be interested. That 8501, I don't know, Doug, I believe there's someone living there and they don't have any interest in selling. So if it comes up for sale at some point in the future, we would hope to have a conversation and see if we can't acquire that. Happy to answer any other questions.
I would say this is a long-term strategy that's nice to get done. It doesn't rise to the level of government taking property. So these are willing sellers, and we feel it's fair for both. And that's the same case with those. If that ever changes, you'll know, but it's not urgent.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. AEF&R Senior Vice President, CFO Steve Dickus will now present the 2006 budget workshop behind tab A.
Good afternoon. Steve Dickus, Senior Vice President, Chief Financial Officer. Jay, if I could have you pull up the slide presentation, please. Thank you. Today, I'll be presenting a preliminary view of the 2026 budget with a focus on personnel and capital projects. I will remind you that we are not requesting approval today for any portion of the budget. This is simply an informational session to provide an initial view of these particular components, and we will continue to work the numbers, and it's possible that some of these numbers may change over the next couple of weeks as we continue to evaluate our financial projections. A final budget will be presented next month for your approval. The board's copy of this presentation can be found behind tab A in your materials, and your copy also includes an appendix which contains additional details supporting the numbers to be discussed this afternoon. Beginning on slide 2, we'll start with the proposed personnel budget. Management will recommend the addition of 25 new full-time positions compared to the 2025 budget, increasing the total from 943 full-time employees to 968. This includes 18 new OAC positions and 7 new SPA positions. The district's management conducted an extensive evaluation of all submitted staffing requests. There are approximately 36 of these, and we determined that these particular 25 positions are the most critical additions needed at this time. 9 of the 25 staff additions will be pipe layers, which we believe are necessary to support the safety and effectiveness of the existing 9 two-man gas crews. Another 4 of the staff additions will be hired to support the opening of CC2, our second construction center, which is scheduled to open in April of 2026. And of those 4, 2 employees are in the facilities management department to help ensure that the new facility is properly maintained. There are another 2 employees in the stores division, which will help manage and distribute the materials, tools, and supplies that will be stored at this new facility. And the remaining 12 positions will support various departments across the district. On slide 3, this chart provides just a snapshot, a budget-to-budget view of the split between OAC and SPA personnel, and you will see a small increase relative to the OAC percentage. Turning to slide 4, this chart provides a monthly trend of full-time employees for the current year. The top blue line represents 2025 budgeted full-time staffing. The next line down reflects the number of position equivalents. Considering we reduced budgeted wages by a 3% impact for attrition. The dark blue bars show the actual number of full-time positions filled each month through September of this year. We believe that these numbers demonstrate that actual staffing has been running very close to the adjusted budget level and confirms that our approach for budgeting for attrition is appropriate. And we'll plan to use that same 3% attrition factor for the 2026 budgeted wages. We'll now switch gears and discuss capital expenditures. Starting on slide 6, we have the CapEx budget for the water department. Next slide, please. Thank you. This slide presents the 2025 budget, a 25 projection, and a draft of the 2026 budget. Total plant additions and replacements included in the 25 budget were $122.2 million. The updated projection for this year is $97.2 million, which is $25 million lower than budget. And most of this shortfall is timing related, with most projects starting later than expected compared to when the 2025 budget was prepared. Focusing on the 26 budget column, capital expenditures are projected to be $123.6 million next year. This amount approximates the amount budgeted in 2025. The budget includes $74 million for the construction of water mains and other distribution system assets. This is slightly lower than the 25 budget of $78.5 million. Below this line is a section summarizing the budget for capital improvements at the 3 water treatment plants. We're planning for $9.6 million at Florence, $13.5 million at Platte South, and another $3.4 million at Platte West for a total of $26.5 million. The next grouping lists planned spending on repumps, with 2 major projects listed separately for the construction of new reservoirs and pump stations in the northwest and southwest regions of our service area. And I'll speak more to those in a future slide. Total spending on repumps is budgeted at $13.1 million in 2026. The budget also includes $7.4 million for construction machines and another $2.6 million for furniture, equipment, and other assets. Turning to slide 7, please. Yes, sir.
Before you go on, where do you budget for infrastructure? Where dollars? They're not included here on this?
Infrastructure, no, they are included. This, so Jay, if you could go back to slide 6, please. Infrastructure is spread throughout that section.
So infrastructure is buried in all these numbers somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Various components?
Yes. Slide 7, this is a more detailed view of the information just presented, but also showing the funding sources for each type of asset. We often refer to these funding sources as different colors of money that are utilized to pay for CapEx. In addition to the service charge and commodity rates received from our customers, there are several other sources of funds used to pay for these capital projects. For example, developers pay for a large portion of the water main expenditures. In 2025, we expect to receive $23.9 million in developer contributions toward water main construction. And impact fees also contribute to the cost of water mains. We are planning to collect approximately $5 million in impact fees in 2026. The Water Infrastructure Program is funded with a monthly Water Infrastructure Replacement, or WIR fee, and a portion of the commodity component of rates is also designed for this program. The primary source for funding of most water-related building projects is bond financing. This includes capital improvements at the 3 water treatment plants, and bond financing is also planned for construction of the 2 reservoirs that I previously mentioned and various pump stations. Slide 8, please.
Steve, back to that one, Director McGowan. It's the blue dollar sign, right? Specifically that covers cast iron?
Jay, slide 8, please. I'm sorry, your comment?
The second water cast iron replacement, is that what you were asking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's a breakout of the one above, so we still stick with the color of money. It works pretty well. Sorry for the interruption there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Slide 8 displays a projection of capital spending in the Water Department for 25 through 2030. We do look at a 5-year view, even though we're particularly presenting a 1-year budget. Including in the current year, cumulative spending over this time frame is projected to be $815 million. Slide 9, please. This highlights the major components of these capital expenditures. Construction of water mains will continue to represent a large portion of the spending over the next several years, with annual spending of more than $73 million each year. At the Florence Water Treatment Plant, there are a couple large projects planned in 2026, 27, and 28, and then expenditures begin to decline as we near completion of that particular improvement plan for that facility. As the Florence CIP plan winds down, we're going to ramp up capital improvement projects at Platte South and expect to spend about $80 million there over the time frame presented. An improvement plan has also been developed for Platte West, and those projects will be phased in at this facility over the next few years. The section below that also presents projected spending on reservoirs and pump stations. The district's water master plan identified the need for 2 additional reservoirs and pump stations, one in the northwest region and one in the southwest. The Northwest Reservoir will be built first, with land purchase and design starting soon, and construction beginning in 2027 and ending in 29. Some of the Northwest land reservoir area was already purchased this year. Design for the Southwest Reservoir is expected to begin in '29, with construction starting in 2030 and extending beyond the 5-year period presented. The Water Master Plan also identified the need for upgrades to existing pump stations and possibly new stations in the future. There's particular plans developed for Highway 370, Highway 133, 132nd Harney, 78th and Harrison, Poppleton, Bedford, Turner, and Skyline. The last 2 lines on this schedule present the projected expenditures for construction machines and furniture and equipment. As mentioned earlier, many of these initiatives will be bond financed, including most of the capital improvement projects at the 3 water treatment plants, as well as the major pump station projects. The district last issued water bonds in October of 2022. Those funds were fully utilized at the end of the 3rd quarter of this year. Our historical practice on the water side has been to issue finance bonds every 3 years or so. I'll remind you that we did budget for a $149 million bond issuance this year in 2025. We didn't quite spend those proceeds as quickly as we thought, so we did not proceed with a bond issuance this year, but the 2026 budget will include an issuance for early 2026. And we will present to this board a bond resolution at the next board meeting to consider in that effort.
Steve, is the Florence CIP scheduled to sunset in 2030? Is that correct? It looks like it levels off in 2030, and that is probably the case. I'm just double checking.
For current project, yeah, you can see it winds down here dramatically starting in 29 or so with little additional expense, capital expense in 2030.
Thank you.
Okay, slide 10. This slide has been presented in the past, and it shows our historical water main breaks, including a trend through September of this year. Over this time period, the district has experienced an average of 553 breaks per year. And over the last 5 years, that amount is 588. There is a financial cost to repair each of these breaks, of course. There's also a social cost due to the disruption to homes and businesses when these events occur. I will point out that through September, we're at 390. I saw October breaks this morning, and we're now up to 432. So if that additional 42 continues in November and December, and it may or may not, but that would bring us to 516 for the year 25, which would be below our 5- and 10-year averages.
Steve, where do we see the improvements of the results of our infrastructure spending, replacing all those mains with new, stronger mains? It seems like we don't see any drop-off of breaks for all the money we're spending.
I'm going to take a shot at that one, Mark Doyle, President. I have the same questions going back into time here when I assumed this role. It was a focus for sure that we've been, the board, management, me when I was in your seat, management's been sounding the alarm for a long time on infrastructure disruptions, but specifically water main breaks. And the chart that was shown to me and us was if we don't do something, we can manage 2 or 3 breaks in a day, and we've had up to, I don't know if we've ever had a dozen, but we've had several on the same weekend. I think what I'm telling myself is all this time and effort and money being put into infrastructure bearing fruit, and it absolutely is. I'm not speaking for the engineering group, but I feel like we've stemmed the tide, and now we're going to go this way. But this just doesn't happen overnight. It's like climbing Mount Everest for me. Maybe you guys. This has really been the kind of challenge that if you like solving problems, this is what you live for. You know, because we've told you, and we're probably going to repeat a little bit, we're doing many, many different things now in terms of the biggest thing, two of the biggest things that we're doing that are going to pay off in the future is conditional assessment. We are no longer just going and replacing a main because it broke, or because we are using conditional assessment. We're using different methods. You've heard pipe bursting. You've heard direct, all the things that we're doing there. We're using different materials. The same report Steve just mentioned on water main breaks, we're electronically fusing HDPE now. There are no joints in that pipe when we're done with it. We're doing things that we don't tell you about all the time that I'm confident that your investments in infrastructure are paying dividends because we've flattened it out. I'm not speaking for MASA here because we talk about this a lot, but I feel like we're avoiding the situation where we have 50 breaks in the same week. It could happen. It happens around the country. There's times where it's not sustainable. You just have to let water run. We're not in that position. Your investments they really have paid off. It's going to get better and better and better. I'm going to be watching as long as I'm on this earth, and I know that this group is poised to do things now because we've allowed it. You don't tell people to do stuff. You open the door and let them do stuff. Leak detection, some of the things I'm not going to talk about here that are coming to the water industry that we're on top of, and I'm going to say AI, just forget that I said it because I don't like saying that. Because you've let us build a risk assessment model, which costs money, because you've let us, now when I say you let us, you allocated the funds to let us build a hydraulic model. That's a leap of faith. It's paying off. You're doing the right thing here, and it is going to pay off for this community. And this stuff will never go away, but it will be cut to a level where funding will be put where it should be to avoid emergencies, not just to fix them. And by the way, we're really good at fixing water main breaks. Now, why? Because we have a lot, but we are really good at it, and we even have to staff for it. There'll be a day where you'll have more water construction crews than water emergency crews, but it's all the same people. We're poised for some really good things. I wish we were a little farther in terms of this chart for me, but great question, and you also let me get on my soapbox here. I believe in it, and I know it's going to be better than we ever even imagined.
Great answer. That's what I was hoping for. That, you know, it could have been a lot worse or whatever.
But you don't see it how I wish we would, but
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to see a chart that goes down.
Anything you want to correct me on? Okay.
Well, it's much cheaper.
It's really important. This is for this community.
I had to ask that question because it just jumped out at me.
Well, it's much cheaper to be ahead of the game than to catch up.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of the hours, the overtime hours that people have to put in on blazing hot days and freezing hot nights down in that, down and dealing with this to replace these, to mend breaks, I think you're very, very smart to look forward and to say, you know, these mains aren't getting any younger. We got to keep up with it.
And I'm not saying overtime will ever go away. It'll just be managed and it'll be value add, not just fixing emergencies. We have enough work here for generations. I'm very careful about that topic, and I do believe that. And by the way, we do it the best.
Mark?
So there's not a world.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. There's not a world where you ever have zero water main breaks in any system, correct? Of our size, of any. So that going to zero, it's just going to from a reactive mode to being able to plan maintenance and then be in a position to respond for the emergency water main breaks.
Yeah, I don't know what it ever goes to in a perfect world, but we still have hits. We have contractors hitting our infrastructure. We have, the answer is yes. They're, in a perfect world, they would, but they won't. Yes?
Mark, when our risk assessment or condition assessment suggests there's going to be a problem, are we nimble enough and do we have enough staff to be able to tackle that before there is a problem, or is it just that we're aware of it and it's going to get on the list to be done soon? How long, and maybe you can't answer this, how far down the road will it be before we can get to these things where we suggest there's going to be a problem?
I would say I sign all the CNAs. I see all of the work requests for you approve a blanket authorization for infrastructure replacement on both the gas and water side, but we're talking about the water side here. So we have, when we say our risk assessment model, that's a database full of records that we've had for, decades and decades. Additional to that is our current information, number of breaks per mile, all of those things. And everything I see that comes around under your blanket authorization usually is driven by breaks per mile versus age. We have a lot of areas that I wish we could get to all at once. We can't. That's why we have a risk assessment model. But we are nimble enough to go out and take care of something that trends into a much bigger problem than even our risk assessment model. I see it all the time. Can't think of one right now, Masa, but I read one recently that said, we were here, we're going to stay here and we're going to do this because, or we're back here again. That happens a lot. So we are nimble enough, but there are a lot of areas that I wish we could get fixed right now today. But I'm not sitting here losing sleep thinking we have areas that are going to blow apart. I'm not. I feel like we're in pretty good shape.
And I'm just hoping to get our money's worth for the assessments that we do and have a return on this investment in risk assessment and see snakes and things like this where we are trying to curb future breaks. So I just wondered, how far down the road before we can get to it, before it does cause a problem.
Well, let's keep having that conversation. That's, leading indicators are main breaks, of course, but it's much more than that. Is when you mention sea snake, you're talking about conditional assessment. That has paid off in dividends because we can tell you right now, any particular stretch of main that we've assessed, and we only fixed a few hot spots versus carte blanche replacement, it's big. We're going to have more and more of those. And the engineering group and the whole team's very good about letting us know, here's where we're going this year. These conditional assessments they're difficult to set up, but they pay off in big dividends. The disruption that we're avoiding when it comes to that, and pipe bursting, for example, is, Steve mentioned social costs. We are minimizing the social costs. I don't have a great answer on that other than I feel like we are definitely making great progress, but you're not going to visually see it here this year. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. I'm feeling like we're going to hit a tipping point.
Mark, I was going to pose this question to you later, but I think it's timely now. In the September reports that we get that Steph Mueller produces, under the engineering section, the September report, it talked about there's a 1,200-foot section of 8-inch ductile iron main under I-80 along 60th Street that was replaced using pipe bursting. And I wonder if you could briefly, this kind of goes to Mike's original question, this is something that isn't publicized, but given that we're talking about it right now, what's the context of that challenging project and how is it successfully completed for our customer owners?
That would be a great example of an area that trended in the wrong direction that we took care of sooner than we expected to. I will say, because we're all in this together, we don't do every job. That particular project is a pipe bursting job. We do pipe bursting. That wasn't ours, but it was an emergency because of, I don't know, was it a couple extra main breaks and it disrupted the interstate? And we were able to put together a 1,200-foot pipe bursting project and get it done pretty quickly and take care of that. That's a good one to bring up, and I noticed that was in the report. There's quite a few other things in that report. On that same page was getting past the disruption for UNMC along 42nd Street, which is near and dear to all of our hearts. We got a real challenge in this organization and for you as board members. And I feel like we're really swinging at it and hitting it. I'm in baseball mode still. So I love those kind of questions because it's always a balance between how much do we tell you, how much do we not tell you. And the reason I like talking about this from the heart in a public meeting is the public needs to know that we're not kicking this can down the road, but it is climbing a mountain. So yeah, that was a really nicely completed emergency that didn't take us off something else that we were in flight on. And probably the size of it lent itself to saying we're going to go here now. Yeah, we have a lot of those that I could come up with where stop, do something different, get past it, stop an emergency, update our risk assessment model, lather, rinse, repeat. Thank you for those questions.
Thanks, Mark.
Next slide, please.
Oh, yeah, we're doing the budget.
I actually do have one additional slide on risk mitigation related to this topic. As Mark mentioned, we really do have a three-pronged approach, and that's main replacement, condition assessment, and leak detection. We continue to replace high-consequence water mains at a steady pace. The budget includes 17 miles of replacement in '26, and that increases to 18 miles the next 3 years and 19 miles in 2030. The 5-year plan assumes an average cost of $2.3 million per mile of replacement. Managing the cost per mile is critical to the success of this program, as we've discussed, and we continue to utilize alternate installation methods like the pipe bursting that we talked about, material types, when feasible, to lower the cost. We also continue to invest in other risk mitigation strategies to be proactive and to identify issues before they become costly breaks. The 5-year plan includes $1 million per year of condition assessment of high-risk mains. We took a big step forward this year in our leak detection program. Over 1,600 leak loggers are currently deployed, and initial results have been positive. And this technology has allowed us to identify and repair several leaks before they became costly and disruptive water main breaks. I would like to switch gears now to the
Steve,
gas
can I
department.
interrupt? The last bullet, funding this program on a current year basis will require infrastructure-related rate increases for the foreseeable future. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Certainly. So we, sorry. Our WER program includes a WER revenue fee. In addition to that, we have the expenditures, which include the replaced mains as well as CapEx and infrastructure, integrity administration, as well as condition assessment. We're at $2.3 million per mile in our current mileage replacement program. We're slightly under-recovered on our expenditures. So we continue to have a small increase relative to our WER fee to cover that.
One of the things we've always said about issuing bonds for capital projects is that you spread the cost of the bonds out into the future, and future ratepayers pay their share instead of the current ratepayers getting stuck by it. Have we thought about having a bond issuance for just WER?
Yeah, I had mentioned we budgeted for a water bond issuance this year, and it was not necessary, but we have one in the plan for next year.
Does that include WER expenditures, or is that just for capital expenditures?
Well, typically, we wouldn't necessarily bond finance non-capital items. Things like leak detection, leak loggers, we typically haven't bond financed those. We don't usually bond finance mains. To the extent that it's an overall system improvement, we could consider that, but we haven't typically bond finance mains in the past.
I would like to consider or see the pros and cons of issuing a bond for the water infrastructure instead of planning rate increases for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
What does that look like? Is that good or bad for the ratepayer?
Yes, sir. We'll look at that.
Thank you.
Okay, switching over to the gas department. Slide 13, please. This slide summarizes capital expenditures, comparing the 25 budget to the 25 projection and 26 budget. Total plant additions and replacements, including the 25 budget, were $115 million. The updated projection for this year is 94.6, or 20.4 million below budget. Higher spending on gas mains is offset by lower spending on CC1, CC2, information technology, motor vehicles, and furniture and equipment. The 26 budget includes capital expenditures of $99.8 million, and this is $15.2 million below the 25 budget. And that difference is largely due to the completion of the construction center in the second quarter of next year, as well as the S/4HANA upgrade in 2025. This budget includes $50.9 million for the construction of gas mains and other distribution system assets. In addition to the mains, it includes metering equipment and gas services. This amount is $6.9 million higher than the $44 million included in the 25 budget. As shown on the next line, the LNG plant upgrades are complete. The $4.1 million included in next year's budget is related to several smaller capital projects at the LNG plant and the propane air caverns. Renovation of CC1, our existing construction center, will continue in 2026 with $10.6 million included in the budget, and we plan to spend $9.7 million on the new construction center next year as that facility is completed. The IT budget of $5 million includes $3.5 million for digital transformation projects that were mentioned earlier. The budget also includes $12.6 million for motor vehicles and another $5.4 for furniture, equipment, and other assets. Slide 14, please. This is our color of money slide for the gas side of the business. In addition to the revenue generated by the service charge and commodity or margin component of rates, there are several other funding sources available for CapEx in the gas department as well. The gas infrastructure replacement fee is used to fund replacement of the remaining cast iron gas mains and related gas services. Bond financing has been used to pay for the infrastructure replacement costs and is also being used to finance the LNG plant upgrades, which were just wrapped up, as well as the construction center projects. In addition, the district has been awarded the 2 PHMSA grants to assist with our gas infrastructure replacement, one for $10 million and one for $25 million. And finally, the gas cost adjustment component of rates is used to pay for certain peak shaving expenditures at the LNG plant and propane caverns. Slide 15, please. This displays a projection of capital spending in the gas department. Cumulative spending over this time frame is projected to be $384 million, rising to $100 million in 26, and that is driven by the 2 construction center projects. Once these projects are completed in 26 and 27, we expect CapEx to level off in the range of $75 to $76 million a year. Next slide, please. Final slide.
Sorry, Steve,
Yes, sir.
I hate to interrupt you again, but you say the capital expenditures will level out. Will our GER go to 0? Will we eliminate the GER?
I would suspect that we would want to use GER for our GER 2.0 program. So GER 1.0 is to replace the low-pressure and high-pressure cast iron mains, and those are largely going to be funded by the PHMSA grants. But we still have GER 2.0, which involves moving meters inside to outside, and that project will continue for 10 years.
At the same rate, GER rate, or will we look at it and adjust it as needed?
We can adjust it as needed.
It seems like we ought to be able to, if we level it out, we ought to be able to drop it down and then start building it up with what we need to do for the meters and all that. Because we won't be spending that much money right away.
Well, we're a year into the GER 2.0, and we're making good progress, and we expect that to continue. But you're right, at some point, we would complete that project.
How are you funding it right now, GER 2?
In the 25 budget, we have the GER fee.
Pardon?
We have the GER fee currently that we're charging.
And that's funding the GER fee we have that we're collecting through the gas adjustment.
Yes.
That's funding GER 1 and GER 2?
Correct.
So when GER 1 goes away, we ought to see a drop, I would think.
We'll be getting more GER 2 done. Well, yeah, but we will keep that at front and center and keep talking about it. We'll be able to show you the pros and cons and what but fundamentally, we agree. How that shapes out, it's really important that the things that we've identified get done. And, you know, how many miles of low-pressure cast iron have we done?
Low and high pressure, we've got, we'll have 73 miles remaining at the end of this year.
Wow. That means we've done, I don't know, I'm going to say 700-ish, maybe. I could be way wrong, though, so.
Beginning of this year, sorry.
Yeah. How many? 500. Okay, we've done, that's a lot of dangerous, leaky.
I have a question, I guess. We'll have a conversation in this room before there's such a thing as a GER 3.0 and 4.0.
Correct.
All right, because I don't remember us saying the phrase GER 2.0. Does anybody? You don't have to tell me now.
We've learned that we're going to talk about this differently. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, you understand what we're kind of.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, I think when we have the budget discussion in December, with the rates, the GER rates, the regular rates and everything, we ought to have a discussion about GER 1, GER 2, and see how that breaks out. Because, like I say, I love that our gas, GER 1, is dropping down. I understand GER 2 is going up, but there should be a point there where, you know, our ratepayers may get a break for a little bit.
And the only other thing I want to point out on this slide is that the two major construction projects are being funded with bond proceeds, and currently there is no further bond financing assumed on the gas side of the business. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to take any further questions.
One more thing, I'll shut up. You said there's no more financing on the gas side.
Correct.
Should we consider a bond financing too for GER 2, just like I was asking about the water infrastructure, so that our current ratepayers aren't stuck? We spread the cost out to the future payers too?
That would be another way to handle it. You're correct. Any other questions? Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Possibly ask a qualified commotion. Well, why don't we wait until after the public comment?
Yeah, we'll have a section of the meeting where we call and ask you.
As a documentary, I can't make public comment, but I can ask a qualified question. So, sure. However, you all would like to handle that. When he says something. Sorry.
Committee of the Whole, Vice President of Gas Operations Jim Knight will give a brief gas update. Documents can be found behind tab B.
The gallery is telling me to focus on brief, so I'm sure you guys want to hear a lot more numbers, though, after you just heard the Jim Knight, Vice President of Gas Operations. Move on to the next slide, Jay. Okay, this is a 30-year chart showing the wholesale gas prices at a supply point on Northern Natural Gas. It's one of the two major gas supply points on Northern where we buy most of our gas. You can see this is a winter average price, November through March for the past 30 winters. We've seen highs back 20 years ago. If I was standing here, we were looking at $8.50 gas for the winter. For this coming winter, with future prices, we're estimating around $4.45, a little higher than last year. Last year was about $3.70. I would say part of the reason we're seeing a little uptick here the last year or two is increased demand via LNG exports. The U.S. is continuing to export higher amounts of LNG. So right now, we're exporting about 15% of all the gas that's produced in the country is being exported worldwide.
Jim, along that same line, you hear about all the new
Data centers?
Data centers and everything coming up that are going to be using a lot of electricity or natural gas. Is that impacting the price as well?
I'm sure that mindset is having an impact. Yeah, data centers are really, I mean, right now, natural gas is used to produce about 40% of all electricity in the United States, 40%. So as the electric load continues to increase, a good share of that will be natural gas. Move on to the next slide. This is a summary of our winter gas supply portfolio going into the winter. The blue part, the biggest part, is our prepay gas supplies. That supplies about 63% of our winter gas supplies. These prepay contracts, since we are prepaying the gas, we get a discount to the market price. In 2025, that will provide $14 million of savings to our customers below market. That discounts will increase in 2026 and increase to $16 million of discounts in 2026. Out of the 7 contracts, one of our contracts has a $1.48 per decatherm fixed discount. I've been told by our Central Plains Energy Project advisors that's the best prepay that's ever been done. And there's been roughly 90 prepays been completed over the last 20 years. That $1.48 is going to last for another 13 years. I should be retired before that ends, hopefully. And that's about 20% of our gas supply. So that one contract will provide about $113 million of below market priced gas over the next 13 years. It'll help pay for some of the GER work.
Which GER?
Yes. Yes. We also, about 12% of our gas supplies will come out of storage that we lease on Northern Natural Gas. That was filled from June through October of this year. And like the average price for that gas was $2.30. So that's a nice low price gas for our customers in the wintertime.
Is the storage full, the northern storage heavily
Yes.
injected? We're full going into the winter here?
Yes, yep, we're full there, we're full at our, and we're in good shape at our peak shaving facilities as well.
Great.
So. Let's move on to the next slide. In this summer, Northern Natural Gas filed for a rate increase to be effective January 1st of 2026. They're asking for a 85% increase to transportation rates and a 48% increase to storage rates. This is their third rate increase in the last 6 years. There was one in 2020, one in 2023. Those rates will go into effect subject to refund on January 1st. Due to our long-term or 20-year agreement with Northern Natural Gas, which has a rate cap of $20 million per year, these rate increases will have virtually no impact on our customers. Right now, the rate cap is $16.8 million below. If we were paying the tariff rate, we'd be paying another almost $17 million a year more per year. Assuming Northern and customers settle for 30% of their requested increase, our discounts will increase to $25 million a year. The rate cap has provided $76 million of savings since 2020. So from 2020 through 2025. I would expect Northern is not quite halfway through their asset modernization plan. So I would expect another rate increase in 2029. They've been on a pace about every 3 years, so.
They're not required every 3 years. They can do it every year, couldn't they?
Certainly.
They can always back them up.
Yes,
Yeah.
you bet.
Another question, with all these savings that benefit M.U.D. and our ratepayers, has Northern ever grumbled about the contract we have and want to redo it?
No, they have not.
We wouldn't refer to it as grumbling. But there are some dates up there that we need to be aware of. That's for sure, right? like 2036.
In 2036, yeah, when that contract expires. I would expect the rate cap to provide about $400 million of savings over the next 10 years. So we'll need to start early and often before that date comes due.
Hey, Jim, I'm sorry to get back to CPEP really quick. Sorry to go back to a previous slide, but CPEP would not be possible were it not for M.U.D being a public utility, correct?
Correct, absolutely. Yes, that gives us the ability. These deals are all based on our ability to issue tax-exempt bonds. And so that's one of the, if we were ever privatized, and I believe Mr. Kubat spoke about that a few years back, if we were ever privatized, all that goes away on day one. Wow.
Thank you, George Norris.
That is a huge advantage that we're been taken advantage of and benefits our customers. Okay, final slide. Here's a forecast that was presented at Northern's Winter Operations Meeting, calling for a little colder than normal in the Omaha area. As you can see by that little green blob there, and then normal precipitation. And then the National Weather Service is predicting about the same, so we're kind of right in the average zone for this coming winter. So we'll see. Any other questions anyone has? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Are there any members of the public in attendance today who would like to address the board? Please come up and state your name.
15 years.
I apologize for my previous over-eagerness. Paula Sikip. I am a resident of 68112 zip code, and I am a documenter for Flatwater Free Press. So I would just like to ask one clarifying question regarding the budget, because when I was reviewing the documents, what I didn't see in terms of a line item, and it may be somewhere in the budget, but I would like to know where, because I'm that person. I did not see information in the budget regarding the current lead remediation efforts, okay? So M.U.D is doing soil sampling, tap water testing, so forth and so on. And some residents in North Omaha are having all three. So it's like, okay, you're having your water lines replaced, your soil's been tested, your soil has lead, and your tap water's been tested, and it's twice the rate. So I'm curious about that particular aspect, because if M.U.D is doing that work, which we've seen in the community, what I'm curious about specifically is in the budget, how much money is being set aside for that?
Thank you for the question, Mark Doyle, President. The reason we're pausing, there's a whole bunch of people that can answer those questions.
I understand.
And we love to talk about it because you're talking, in our case, we call it LSSR, lead service line replacements, LSLR. We have a quick acronym that is DETECT. Yeah, anyway. I'm thinking and talking.
No, I appreciate that, because defining acronyms is really important.
So we know approximately how many lead water service lines there are in our system. We have a plan. We've tried to combine using ratepayer funds with non-ratepayer funds to get this done. And I'm going to let someone else take it that has more specifics, but it isn't so much a matter of the amount of money. It's how do we get a system going like this where we can replace as many as possible with the appropriate resources to do it responsibly and make sure that we're truly improving the property. But we love the question. We've had 2 community meetings that have gone very well, and yesterday we had a virtual meeting that went as well, if not better. So thanks for the question. Now I'm going to let somebody who knows something talk about this.
Thank you, Mark. Steve Dickus, Senior Vice President, Chief Financial Officer. So today's presentation was focused on personnel and capital expenditures. This particular program involves customer-owned assets, so they're not our assets per se, even though we are very committed to this program. And as you stated, we are spending money currently. I can report that our goal for this year was to replace 650 lines, lead service lines, and we're on track for that. We expect to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $6.5 million this year to do that. We were successful in utilizing the state cash fund grant that funded maybe 2/3 of that amount through June of this year. The rest of it we expect to receive from a zero-interest $40 million loan from this Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. So we've got some funding in place to fund this program, and we don't anticipate a current rate impact to our customers for that reason. But this is a long program that we're just getting started on.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Any other members of the public in attendance that would like to comment? Do any board members or management have any further comments they wish to share? Don't see any. This meeting is now concluded. We will reconvene for the regularly scheduled board meeting at 2:30. We're adjourned. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, 1 minute, please, 1 minute. Paging Dave Friend. Dave Friend to the front, please. Walmart calling Dave Friend. I would like to call the meeting to order. I am Tim Cavanaugh, Chairman of the Metropolitan Utilities District Board of Directors, and I'd like to welcome you all to the regular monthly board meeting this afternoon, November 5 of 2025. This meeting is being live streamed from the boardroom at the M.U.D headquarters building located 7350 World Communications Drive. And a recording of this meeting will be uploaded to the M.U.D website after the meeting's conclusion. Roll call, please.
Howard.
Here.
Kavanaugh.
Here.
Begley.
Here.
Cook.
Here.
Friend.
Here.
Sidzik.
Here.
McGowan.
Here.
I would like to advise all those in attendance that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is available on the wall in the back of the boardroom. And now for those who wish to participate, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, approval of the minutes for the committee meetings and regular board meeting for October 1st, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from our meeting October 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Howard.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Begley.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Friend.
Yes.
Sidzik.
Yes.
McGowan.
Yes.
Item 5, capital expenditures. Director Friend.
Thank you. Capital expenditures discussed in committee. I move approval as outlined in the memo from Kendall Minor dated October 30th.
Second.
Who was the second? Sidzik? Discussion? Roll call.
Howard.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Begley.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Friend.
Yes.
Sidzik.
Yes.
McGowan.
Yes.
Item 6, acceptance of contracts and payment of final estimates, also discussed in committee. Move approval as outlined in the memo from Trevor Tonagis dated October 21st.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Howard.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Begley.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Friend.
Yes.
Sidzik.
Yes.
McGowan.
Yes.
Item number 7, bids on materials and contracts during the month of October, also discussed in committee. I move approval as outlined in the memo from Sherry Lightfoot dated October 22nd.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Howard.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Begley.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Friend.
Yes.
Sidzik.
Yes.
McGowan.
Yes.
Item number 8, notice of purchases between $25,000 and $50,000 be placed on file. Item 9, under Services and Extensions, main extensions, also discussed in committee. I move approval as outlined in the memo from Masa Nia dated October 28th.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Howard?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Begley?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Siddick?
Yes.
McGowan?
Yes.
Item 10, change order number 1, Permar Security Contract Services. District Management is requesting we approve the change order for the Permar Security Contract Services for CC2 as presented in the committee meetings by Vice President of Safety and Security Shane Hunter and outlined in the Security Manager Zach Valentine's letter to the committee dated October 31st, 2025.
Second.
Is there discussion? Roll call.
Howard?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Begley?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Siddick?
Yes.
McGowan?
Yes.
Item 11.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval of the wage and/or salary increases and ratifications as discussed in the committee meeting this afternoon and outlined in Ms. Savine's memo dated October 30th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Howard?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Begley?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Siddick?
Yes.
McGowan?
Yes.
Item 12, purchase agreement, North 28th Avenue parcels, 3 of them. District Management is requesting we approve proceeding with efforts to purchase 3 lots located on North 28th Avenue as presented in the committee meetings by Senior Vice President and General Counsel Mark Mendenhall and as outlined in his memo to the committee dated October 30th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Howard?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Begley?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Siddick?
Yes.
McGowan?
Yes.
Item 13, other members of district business for discussion. Does any board members or management have any further comments they wish to share at this time? Are there any members of the public present who would further like to address the board about any issues at all? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move. Second. Jinx.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Howard?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Begley?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Siddick?
Yes.
McGowan?
Yes.
We are adjourned.